I feel the need to talk about this on here because this video is going up the Sunday after the United States presidential election. If you didn't know, I do live in the US. If you also didn't know or couldn't tell from my videos, I'm angry about the results. But I digress. If my morals and belief system are not clear through the videos I make and or my other social media platforms, which I'm constantly reposting human rights and activism content, that's where I land, okay? But what I really wanted to talk about was a post I had made to Instagram today. It's Wednesday, it's the day after the election. And I want to talk about how important preserving art is in general, but in regards specifically to this election and how it ended up. Physical media is something I'm obviously very passionate about. My whole entire account is about my books, me reading, my DVDs, my VHS tapes, my CRT TVs. And the reason why I collect physical media so much is because it's so important to keep it alive. It's important to keep public libraries alive. It's important to look up and learn from journalists and activists and historians, archaeologists, all of that. Movies, art, paintings, drawing, poetry, writing, photographs, fashion, they keep history alive when people try to erase said history. Those stories are told from a perspective like me and you, and not from the perspective of people who don't care about us. They're not told from the perspective of the country, of the government that won the war or won this part of history. They're told from the people that were involved in it and were on the front lines of it. And now more than ever, when you've seen the states trying to ban certain books for certain content that's in these books, and some of these books I've read. I read in high school. I've been out of high school for 5 years. Some of these books we read because they were on a banned book list in other countries. And it's so important to not only read those books. I can make a list. I can link a video down below that has a bunch of them. Fahrenheit 451 is the first one that comes to mind. To Kill a Mockingbird, The Movement, 1984. Like, these are all important books that we read in high school for a reason. And they're important books to have physically with you because the digital age and the digital in general is so fleeting. We can see that with the government banning TikTok and getting rid of it the day before the new president becomes inaugurated. People don't respect the arts enough. Arts are one of the most important things to society and to human history. Arts is one of the first things cut when you see education cut and schooling cut. And it's so important to preserve the history we do have made through art, and it's important to write your own. It's important to create your own. It's important to share your own. It's important to lean on people in the community. It's important to be with each other in a physical, real life space. The digital world is extremely great for connecting with people all over the internet and all over the world and meeting people that you wouldn't have otherwise met as easily. But it's also important to connect with the people in your community in real life because that's where the change happens on a day-to-day basis and soon to be hopefully on a national level. Because if you're not connected, I'm all over the place, but the American individualism that has been placed and embedded into people's heads is going to kill us. My curls are calling because they agree with me. Can I see them? It's also important to not lose hope if you're a part of the minority, any minority actually, with that man in power. While that's going to be difficult, extremely difficult, extremely hard, people's hope, people's love, and people's community are really going to be the things that save them. They're important to have, they're important to spend time with, they're important to invest into, and I hope that this relieves some anxiety. I've been talking to my friends all day, both online and in person, that are a part of these marginalized, affected communities, in many ways more than one, that though it may feel like you're completely defeated and you're completely alone and nobody's on your side, there were 70 million people in the United States that voted in favor of Kamala Harris. There were 70 million people that voted in favor to protect queer communities, to protect trans kids, to protect kids of all races and genders, and adults of all races and genders, and sexualities, and religions, and ethnic groups, and they were there. They voted in our best interest. And they'll continue, hopefully, to do what they can on a communal level and do what they can in a legislative level. And while I don't even want to say the next 4 years, because this obviously changes a lot in the election, he said it himself that we'll never have to vote again if he gets elected president again. No idea what the fuck that means. But what I'm trying to say, I hope comes across correctly. I can't really... I wrote a whole Instagram post. I might include it in here. I also posted it on TikTok because I have such a better time writing and expressing myself through written word than I do speaking, because my brain is all over the place. One final thing I do want to say is that while it's going to be difficult to continue to be joyous, or to be optimistic, to be happy, any moment you can find joy, hold on to it. Whether it's just you seeing a gorgeous sunset or the full moon or hanging out with your friends or going out to dinner with your family or somebody you care about, meeting somebody, going to a concert. Those moments that remind you that, hey, I'm alive, those moments that remind you that we're all human, those moments that make you happy, even if it's just for a fleeting second, hold on to it. Write it down, put it in a journal, look back on it when you can't think of any reason whatsoever that life is good. Because the good is there. You just have to dig for it. It's there.
Enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that a fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That we owe